Hi guys, how are you all doing today? Welcome to my channel. I just want to preview the semi-finals in Dubai and Acapulco. First, let's start with Novak Djokovic. Very big surprise that he was eliminated. I think there's a whole lot of stress related to him being locked up, not allowed in the country. Not knowing if he was going to play or not play, sent back, basically treated like a prisoner. And that's the most important Grand Slam. Two, you're tied 20 all. I think it's affected him, and I think he hasn't been feeling good. Probably, I think he's a bit depressed, and his focus hasn't been on tennis. And he's been eliminated. He's played a poor match. He shouldn't have let those things get to him. He should have come out and played well despite that. But what's actually happened in Dubai is, Djokovic has lost to Vesely 6-4, 7-6. So that's the surprise, which leads us to Daniel Medvedev becoming the world number one. Now, I think it's since about 2004, so about 18 years, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, or Murray have been number one. Now, I think Murray was there for a few weeks, so more than 99% of that time has been Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic for 18 years. So people have been waiting for someone to come in and knock these guys off, Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic. Well, finally, someone's done it to the point where they've not just won a tournament, a Grand Slam, they actually have the number one ranking. And they've knocked Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic out, and them as the next generation have said, "I've arrived. I'm ranked higher than you all. I'm the number one in the world." And we haven't had that. We've had Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Murray for a couple of weeks for the last 18 years. But a new guy from the next generation, a younger guy, Medvedev, has all knocked these guys off and said, "I'm here now, and you guys are no longer the number one. You're not going back and forth. I'm here and I'm the number one." So I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, let's go to Acapulco. So Nadal won his match 6-love, 7-6. Played very well in the first set, let the humidity get to him. Tsitsipas was too good, 6-3, 6-4 for Garon. Cameron Norrie beats, I don't know how to say it, Grajcek. But anyway, we'll have Medvedev has beat Nishioka 6-2, 6-3. All expected. So we'll have Medvedev, Nadal, Tsitsipas, Norrie. First, just quickly, Tsitsipas and Norrie. Norrie likes consistency, good defense, not making errors, winners, waiting for the opponent to make errors. I don't think that'll work out. I think what's going to happen is Tsitsipas is going to overpower him, and he's just going to say, "I'm going to be inconsistent. I'm not going to go for too much. I'm going to play great defense. I'm going to hope you make more errors and winners." But Tsitsipas is just going to boss him around with a forehand, overpower him, and win in straight sets, but two very close sets. So Tsitsipas will be through to the final there. Then we'll have Nadal versus Medvedev, right? Now listen, they played in the Australian Open, 5 hours, 24 minutes. Nadal has to come from 2-love down. You guys have got to understand here, right? Like, this court was fast for a hard court and low bouncing as close to grass or indoors with the low bounce. Medvedev, who has trouble with power to end the points, and he hits it flat. He wants his balls to skim sort of low and fast through the court. And that's the perfect court, low, fast courts where he's hitting it flat. He's getting the ball to sort of skim low to the ground through the court. Whereas for Nadal, he wants to run around. When you hit to the backhand, he wants to have time to run around, hit forehands. If you hit the ball fast through the court, he wants his big motion of the forehand to sort of finish off the rally. So that's what Nadal's hoping for. So that's why he likes play. Goes to the backhand, you've got time to run around, hit forehands. If you hit the ball even really hard at Nadal's forehand, he has time to set up on a slower court and have that big motion in the forehand, right? The Australian Open didn't have that. It was low bouncing and fast, so he's not going to get the time to set up and hit forehands with his big motion and his big swing because it's too fast. His top spin is low bouncing. It's not going to do anything, whereas Medvedev doesn't do well on slow courts because he doesn't have the power to finish the point through good defenders. Had a fast court to finish the point at the Australian Open. Had a fast court because he's got a better serve than Nadal to get more benefit from his better serve, right? Whereas Nadal didn't have a slower court where he could run around, backhands, hit forehands, have time to set up and generate pace by that big swing of a forehand. So everything was in Medvedev's favour, but this is a much slower, high bouncing court. So Medvedev can't hit the ball low to the ground, flat, skim through a low, fast bouncing court. This is slower and higher bouncing. So Medvedev, what he struggles on clay, being able to generate the power to finish points. In the Australian Open, he had a fast court, no problem. But here at Acapulco, it's much slower, similar to clay, and it's going to be much harder for him to be able to finish the point. And then his advantage by having a better serve, that'll be diminished because the serve hits a slower court and slows down and takes a lot of power. So it gives Nadal more time to make more returns and get more of his serves back than the Australian Open. And then the other thing for Nadal is because the court is slower, if you hit to his backhand, he's got time to run around the backhand, hit more forehands. Even if you're hitting the ball hard to his forehand, you can't beat him with pace on these slower courts. He'll always have time to set up and hit the big swing. And once he has that time on a slower court to set up and have the forehand with the big swing, he has enough power to hit through any court. He just needs the time. He gets the time because it's a slower court. He can set up for that big forehand, that big swing, and just finish points. And if you go to the backhand, he has time to run around and again generate power with that big swing. Plus, it's higher bouncing. So now he's going to get the ball to jump up higher than it did at the Australian Open, being more awkward for Medvedev. Whereas for Medvedev, he's losing the advantage by having a better serve because the court is slower and it's slowing down his serve, and Nadal's able to get back more of his serves. And the impact of his serve is now diminished because the court is slowing down his serve. So that advantage was more at the Australian Open, right? And then number two, in the rallies, he struggles to get power to hit through the slow court, especially against a good defender like Nadal. Even on the faster court of the Australian Open, he struggled because Nadal's defense was so good. But on a much slower court and a great defender like Nadal, he's really going to struggle to get the ball in the rallies and generate enough power to get through this slow court and get through Nadal's defense. And it's going to be harder than the Australian Open. The advantage of his serve will also be taken away. Whereas for Nadal, it's all positives. He has time to set up and hit huge forehands, 1, 2, 3 forehands. His forehand has enough power to get through any defender on any court. Then he has time to run around and on the backhand, hit forehands. Medvedev's better serve. He has more time to get more of them back. And it's higher bouncing, so he can get his ball to jump up more. So, like I said, Medvedev wants a faster, lower bouncing court. Had that at the Australian Open, but Nadal still just beat him. Whereas Nadal wants a slower, higher bouncing court. So he didn't have that in Australia, but he got that. The fact is the conditions suited Medvedev and not Nadal with the court at the Australian Open. Nadal still won. Here the court suits Nadal and not Medvedev. So if Nadal was able to beat Medvedev on a court surface that suits Medvedev and doesn't suit him, but he still wins at the Australian Open, now playing on a court that suits him and doesn't suit Medvedev, he should just win, but win by even more than what happened in the Australian Open, right? Because Medvedev won't finish the points. Nadal will have time to set up and hit forehands, will have time to run around on the backhand, hit forehand, and will get more bounce through his topspin to jump higher on Medvedev, and will take away the power of Medvedev's better serve because it'll slow it down and give Nadal more time. So when you consider all those factors, and the fact is when the conditions were ideal for Medvedev and bad for Nadal, Nadal still won. Now the conditions are good for Nadal, bad for Medvedev. Nadal's just going to win, but win by more. And it's going to be like Medvedev consistent, but not enough power to get through the court. And Nadal's just going to dominate and move Medvedev around and overpower him with a forehand, stand in the middle, hammer that forehand left and right, and be standing in the middle, hammering the forehand and pushing Medvedev around and overpowering him in the rallies. Meanwhile, Medvedev himself can't get the ball, can't generate enough power to get through this slow court. It could be Nadal in 2 or 3 sets, but just because they were so close in the Australian Open, I'm going to say 3 sets to Nadal, but it won't be as close. So I said the other semi-final Tsitsipas. Let's go over to Dubai just for a minute. Vesely Shapovalov. I just think Vesely's just got Shapovalov's got a bit better serve, bit more power, a bit more consistency. Probably get over the line in 3 sets. Hurkacz and Rublev, it's going to be a tough one. I think people like Hurkacz can have a big serve, can take Rublev's time away, and especially on a fast court like Dubai, where you use the serve, you attack, you shorten the points, you take risks, and Rublev never gets time to get in a rally and hammer 4 or 5 powerful shots, and doesn't have time to set up on his shots. But even despite all that, I just don't think Hurkacz has been that good for a while. Actually, sorry. Hurkacz did beat Sinner 6-3, 6-3, while Rublev went down 6-2 against McDonald. So I'm actually going to say in 3 sets, Hurkacz wins. I was going to go for Rublev, but just based on the last results, it's definitely 3 sets either way. Rublev has more consistently and be able to hit 4 or 5 powerful shots, move Hurkacz around, expose his movement. That could get the win. But I think with a very fast court, with Hurkacz playing well, and the fact that Rublev does not do well against guys like that who serve huge, attack, take risks, shorten the point. They take his time away, they shorten the point. He can't get in a rally and get rhythm. He doesn't have time to set up to hit his powerful shots and get 4 or 5 shots in the rally. And he's just short on time. His time's taken away. He doesn't have time to set up on his points. Can't get rhythm in the rally, and he's just overpowered. The points are too short. I'm going to say Hurkacz wins in that type of a match. So that's sort of what I'm thinking at the moment. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this one. But yeah. So I'm saying Hurkacz will win, and Shapovalov would win. So we should be left with a Denis Shapovalov versus Hubert Hurkacz Dubai final. While over in Acapulco, I'm saying this court is very similar to clay, and 2 guys who love to play on clay, Tsitsipas and Nadal, will be through to the final, and we'll be meeting there. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll preview the final in both Dubai and Acapulco, and hopefully a Hurkacz Shapovalov final and a Tsitsipas Nadal final. But come back tomorrow and watch my preview of the Dubai Acapulco final. I also made a video of my experience at the Australian Open final. That's already up on my channel. Take a look at that one. But yeah, be back here tomorrow for my preview of Acapulco Dubai finals. Be back for that, guys. And subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Thanks for being with me. See you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.